Bum, 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 bum. To all the poets and the singers and the writers, to all the artists of any kind, welcome to the stage show, entire creations, and lend your listening mind. Good morning, Fredericton. Welcome to Freddie's Buds, a radio show that shines the spotlight on Fredericton's budding and seasoned artists. I'm Adelaide Sensinger, your host for this morning and the creator of this show. Our guest today is Henry Nadeau, and he's an actor in an upcoming show called Frogs. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Adelaide. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, too. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Obviously, my name is Henry. I use he, him pronouns. I am a third-year student at St. Thomas University, studying great books, honoring in great books, and majoring in classics. This is my second show with the Classics Society.
Cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the second show they've ever done?
Yes. Last year we did Plautus's Pseudolus, which is a Roman comedy, whereas this year's play, Aristophanes' Frogs, is a Greek comedy.
Right. And so these plays are taken from ancient times, yes, but they are heavily changed. For example, your character, Elvis, was not alive back then.
Right. So with our comedy this year, we had to heavily adapt it from the original. The original plot is where Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and madness and theater, decides that he's not happy with the way that tragic theater has gone since Euripides has died, and he takes his slave Xanthias to the underworld to bring back Euripides because he misses him. But when he gets down there, he remembers and sees that Aeschylus, another tragic playwright, is also there and remembers how wonderful his productions and his poetry and verse were,
right, and
he has trouble deciding between the two. But we adapted this one because, who knows Aeschylus or Euripides? And Dionysus and his intern Xanthias are really missing
rock and
roll, and specifically Elvis Presley. But when he gets to the underworld, who's there but David Bowie?
Of course.
And how do you choose between two glam rock greats?
So how did you get involved in the show, the first show? Like, how did you hear about it?
So I actually took Dr. Carolyn McDonald's Comic Theater of Greece and Rome class in my second year of university, first semester last year. And she had multiple opportunities for us to perform parts of these shows. And I had done theater before, and I wanted to get involved, so I did many of these in class. And I did a couple of risque things that really caught her attention in the class, and she gave me, more comedic roles that allowed me to be funnier and to be just kind of louder in general.
Yeah. And
then after the semester was over, she emailed a bunch of us that were in the class and essentially said, I got a grant to do an ancient comedy.
Oh, nice.
Would any of you be interested? And I responded immediately, yes, of course. And so we put on Plautus's Pseudolus last year, and I auditioned for the main role, and I got the main role. Super fun.
Yeah.
And that's basically kind of how I started doing this.
Were you involved in theater before it?
I was. I did theater in high school, though I wasn't as involved with it. I did a lot of backstage stuff. And then in my first year of university, I did a lot of backstage stuff as well. But I've always enjoyed acting, and specifically comic acting. Yeah.
Well, this show is certainly comedic.
Yes, very much so.
in several different ways.
Yes, and you would know, Adelaide.
And I would know. Yeah, I play Xanthias, which I'm thankful is not a slave.
Yes.
In our version.
Yes, although I wouldn't say your treatment is wonderful.
I'm basically a slave.
Yeah.
But no one calls me a slave.
Yeah, you're an unpaid intern.
Yeah, so unofficially a slave.
Yes.
How do you feel impersonating Elvis? Like, is there anything that you've done to get to know the old rock star better?
I've always really enjoyed Elvis. I listened to him and the Beatles a lot in middle school. And so I just had a general idea of kind of how he was, what his songs were, things like that. As soon as I knew that I was going to get the role, or that I had the role, I guess I should say, I watched the 2023 Sofia Coppola movie Priscilla, and Jacob Elordi's performance in that. I've seen clips of Austin Butler's Elvis, and other than that, just watching the great man himself,
of course,
perform on stage, particularly talking in interviews. Because I find that his voice is very difficult to impersonate.
Yes.
There's a lot of elements that or accents, I guess, that he's drawing from.
Really?
He grew up in the South, and he was in a particularly poor part of the South, and so there's his voice is obviously very deep, but he's got that sort of like kind of 50s accent that you think of, along with the Southern accent, as well as an accent that if you see his kind of earlier interviews rather than his later ones, an accent from a lot of the poor black people that he was around. Yeah. So which is really hard to like kind of put all of those elements together.
Is there something that you do before, like when you're trying to get into the role and get into the accent, that you do like a little phrase that you say or something that you think about?
I mean, he would just say "whoa, mama" a lot, so I just kind of say that really in a low voice really quickly and try to impersonate that until I feel that it's right.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving us an example of this voice?
Oh, would you like a line from the show?
I mean, sure.
Now, I am the uncontested king of rock and roll. Don't tell me to let go of this chair. It's not perfect.
Great.
It's not perfect, but...
You can tell, though. It's definitely there. And costuming, he certainly had a flair for being eccentric.
Absolutely.
And costume meeting is today, but what do you know about the costume so far?
I know that we're going for kind of his later white jumpsuit sort of look, where in the 70s he would wear a lot of jumpsuits on stage. So it's going to be very white and red and have a lot of rhinestones.
Nice.
And I know that it's going to be very low cut.
Nice.
Yeah.
And for hair, are you going to have a wig?
I am not going to have a wig.
Oh, no.
If you've seen a picture of me or you know who I am, you know I have incredibly curly hair. And I will be I've been growing it out a bit, and I will be straightening it for the role.
Oh, I cannot wait to see that.
I cannot wait to see it as well. I've practiced it once, but we'll have to see how it really comes out with some more help.
Yeah. Well, his hair's pretty high, too, right?
Yeah, my hair's very thick. I have a lot of volume to it, so we'll see how I'm going to kind of get that.
Yeah, with a bit of mousse, you could probably get it pretty high.
Yeah.
Do you have any funny stories about getting into this role or just rehearsing?
From this year?
Yeah, or last year.
My very good friend, Sammy Cormier, is playing Bowie, who... is playing, I guess, opposite me in this.
Yeah.
And Sammy and I actually had roles that played off of each other very well last year in Pseudolus. So I played Pseudolus, who was the slave in that play. Huh. Look at that ancient theater, huh? And Sammy played, I guess, my master or my mistress, as he would say.
Right.
And so Sammy and I got to have a lot of fun comedic moments last year, and this year is only a continuation of that, which I'm incredibly excited about. I can't even pin down one funny moment from even just doing rehearsals, but it seems that almost every action that we decide to make or kind of stumble upon in the show is one of those funny moments almost. So it's even just hard to describe like one particular thing, if that makes sense.
It's kind of the whole dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you last year, another good friend of mine and I rewrote some of the lyrics for some early 2000s and 90s songs for the play. And she and I spent probably 2 hours sitting in a room looking at the lyrics for Baby Got Back and trying to rewrite them as like an elite Roman citizen.
Oh, nice.
So that was probably my favorite memory from doing one of these two performances. But all of it it's all really fun.
Yeah. Did you have any part in the writing of, like, the rewriting of the script this year?
I did a lot of the songs this year.
Okay.
Both Dr. McDonald and I kind of split the tasks on the songs.
Well, you did a great job.
Thank you so much. So I rewrote the lyrics for the frog chorus, for I Am the Walrus, and I also rewrote some lyrics to Killer Queen for a hippie chorus to sing later. So I'm incredibly excited for you guys to see those. I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of the little references that I've put in them to the original songs and just to classic rock in general.
Yeah, which are kind of Easter. Like, how many people do you think will pick up on these?
Classic rock is called classic rock for a reason. A lot of people know about it. A lot of people have heard these songs and heard the tunes and know the lyrics.
Right.
Even if you don't understand all of the references, I think you will understand the vast majority. You know, your dad's playing this stuff for you in the summer and asking, who sang this, and it's for all those kind of people who will get those sort of references, but it's also for the general population too.
Yeah. So could you maybe give us the show dates and when things are happening?
Sure. So the show is playing, I suppose it would be next Friday and Saturday, March 21 and 22, at 7:30. That's when the show starts, and it's at Memorial Hall at UNB. And the tickets are free, so support the arts.
Yeah.
Support the arts. You don't even have to pay for it.
It's not pay what you can. It's just
It's
show
just
up?
free. Just show up.
Nice.
Just show up with you and your knowledge of classic rock.
So you said you had a little bit of part in the writing of it. Did you have a part in, like, choosing Elvis and Bowie to be the characters that people would know?
Yes, actually. So last year, Sammy, whom I mentioned earlier, and Pluto Shaw and I were really involved in the play just in general. And this year, Dr. McDonald reached out to the three of us to kind of have an idea of who we might want to put in instead of Aeschylus and Euripides.
Yeah.
We were really between doing a rock and roll kind of centered one and more of a literature centered one.
Yeah, which would be a little more relevant to the original.
Yeah. So we thought about doing, I think it was Shakespeare and Wilde, Oscar Wilde.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, it was a hard decision, but we figured this would appeal to a more general audience, so we decided to go with Elvis and Bowie. It's also easier to write songs because they have songs.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the play on songs is really fun. There's so many random moments in the show where people just burst out into song.
They do. Yeah, what was one... You sing, I think it's a Joni Mitchell song at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Stardust.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sing a lot.
Yeah. And you want to sing in the show.
Oh, my character is an upcoming star.
Yes.
And she wants to sing. She wants to be a star. But Dionysus always wants the spotlight, so I don't really get the spotlight.
Hopefully Xanthias will get the spotlight.
Yeah, hopefully. You'll have to come to the show to see if I do.
Yeah, you will.
Do you feel like there is an overall message that the show is trying to push out?
I'm going to talk about the original, and then I'll talk about this one, just to kind of show what we've changed. In the original, it takes place, or it was written, I suppose, in the middle of the Peloponnesian War, and Aristophanes is really feeling like we need to sort of go back to our roots and have maybe not be as crazy as we were, and that's why he sort of chooses, that sort of motivates who he chooses to bring back. But in this instance, I think going into this show, we knew how politically relevant all of the Aristophanes plays were, and we wanted to make ours politically relevant as well. So without giving too much away, we wanted to sort of focus on progressing, positive figures and kind of positive messages and sort of focus on moving ahead, both socially and politically and ideologically, rather than sort of staying in the past, which I think is incredibly important in today's political and social climate. So the final sort of scene of the play, I think, really accentuates that, and Dionysus's decision sort of accentuates that as well.
Yeah, kind of changing topics a little bit.
Sure.
Where do you see yourself going with theater in the future?
I'm really interested in ancient comedy, so I've actually been very actively looking at schools, some grad schools, to continue studying it just in class, because I want to go into classics. So I've been looking at schools that would really be able to foster my love for ancient comedy in general. I'd love to study it, and I'd love to still be able to perform it. Yeah. So, looking at a school that would allow me to participate in these sorts of things would be great, and it's obviously a very high priority for me. I'm also working on my thesis up at STU is going to be a production of Aristophanes' Thesmophoriid Zeusai.
Oh my gosh.
Which is women at the Thesmophoria, for those who don't speak Greek.
Yes, I do not, at least. I don't know about you listening, but...
Yeah. Hello to anyone who does. But yeah, I'm really interested in the performance aspect of it, and thinking about how these sort of themes that were relevant then are relevant now.
Yeah.
A lot of the things, a lot of the historical figures and happenings in the Peloponnesian War are so incredibly similar to what we're going through now, especially with the stuff in the United States.
Yeah. Could you give us some examples?
Well,
if you're comfortable.
Sure. There's sort of a demagogue named Cleon in sort of the first bit of the Peloponnesian War.
Okay.
And he's incredibly, if you were to crack open Thucydides' History of the Peloponnesian War and read any of Cleon's speeches in Donald Trump's voice, it would sound like a Trump speech.
Oh my gosh.
So that's how relevant it is.
Right.
And Aristophanes actually, he writes a lot of, as you can tell, he writes a lot of these historical figures into his plays, and it got to the point where he could not name drop anymore because he had name dropped Cleon too bad. Maybe it wasn't Cleon, maybe it was someone else, but I think it was Cleon. He just name dropped him too bad, and they were like, we got to make a law that you can't name drop in these things anymore. So he's a war hawk. He really wants to continue the war with the Lacedaemonians or the Spartans,
right.
And he's not keen on any sort of truce or anything of that nature. And he's very full of himself. He's very full of his abilities that might not necessarily reflect what he can do, and his influence over the people is incredibly gripping. To be able to see a demagogue like this kind of be able to take over Athens and eventually lead to the fall of democracy in Athens is troubling when you see almost the exact same thing happening in the States. So,
such a mirror, yeah.
So, Aristophanes is incredibly politically relevant, and that also informed the play that we were going to do. We didn't want to do one that was too politically relevant so as to keep ourselves afloat mentally, but we wanted to keep some of that original messaging, sort of, that Aristophanes was known for in our play.
Right. Are there any other themes explored besides political themes in classic plays that you also feel are really relevant? Like anything? I don't know very much about them, but
it's a toughie. With the Greek, it's a lot of political stuff, but there's a lot with gender, which I feel like is I feel like everything's kind of a political thing, but yeah, there's a lot explored with gender, specifically in Greek theater. Aristophanes has 3 extant plays that are specifically about women, and all of those plays explore what gender is as sort of a social norm and a social performance.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's even a little bit relevant in this play with Dionysus's costuming.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's a lot about what it means to perform gender and what it means to perform your social role. That's even relevant in Roman comedies as well. From Pseudolus last year, you can see the sort of, it turns the social order on its head, basically.
Right.
So the slave becomes the one, the lowest of the low essentially becomes the one who is able to outwit everyone else and basically outdo everyone else and make everyone else seem like a fool. But they would only happen in these performance contexts, which were not super rare. I mean, they happened all the time, but it was very much like, this is the space in which this can happen, and no other, sort of. So, yeah, there are a lot of things to explore in ancient comedy that are relevant today.
Yeah. Probably should have maybe asked this at the beginning, but speaking from a very uneducated position on this matter, so for the classics, there's Roman plays, there's Greek plays. Like, what are the different categories, and how do they differ?
So the Greek plays, the ones that we kind of specifically have are from Athens' sort of golden age. Mm-hmm. So there are kind of three big tragedians that we have: Euripides, Sophocles, and Aeschylus, two of which are mentioned in the original form of the Frogs. Right. And then we only have sort of one fully extant plays of Aristophanes. We don't have full plays of anyone else. We have some fragments of Menander, who's a new comedian that was after Aristophanes. And so this all happens in kind of 5th century Athens during the Peloponnesian War, and a little bit before that. And then Roman comedy happens in the Republican period of Rome, or at least Plautus does. Terence is the other big comedian that happens after that. And Plautus is during the Republican period of Rome. So I know a little bit less about that, so I don't know how much more I can speak on that.
That's fine. Just to get an idea of where that's coming from. And in terms of comedy, you said you were mostly interested in comedy, but I know Shakespeare, again, this is way later.
Yeah.
But with Shakespeare, there were comedies, there were tragedies, there were, I want to say romances, but I feel like that's not good. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, histories.
Histories, yes. Yeah. And were those very common with classic plays as well, or was it mostly just comedy?
No, most people know Greek tragedy before they know Greek comedy. Okay. I would say, there's Antigone, there's Medea, Oedipus. Like, those are the Oresteia. Those are like the big, like, if you think about plays in ancient Greece, those are kind of the ones that are more in the social idea of things. Awareness, awareness of things. And there are a couple of Aristophanes ones, but it's more if you're like really looking into some Plato, like The Clouds. It deals with Socrates. So, but his plays I don't think are as well known as maybe the tragedians. But yeah, Shakespeare definitely takes stuff from both Greek tragedy and Greek comedy. His play, The Comedy of Errors, really, that one's pretty well known. That one's really well known. That one actually takes from Roman comedy specifically, which took from Greek. So it's kind of a whole cycle of things. But yeah, that one's that one takes from Plautus's the brothers Menechmus, or the Menechmi. So yeah, it's all influenced by each other. Right.
Why comedy for you? Like, what really draws you to comedy?
There's something about comedy that allows it to be, not to get all platonic here,
go ahead.
There's something about comedy that allows you to also talk about more serious issues at hand. Plato talks about in his Symposium that a comedian also needs to be a tragedian, and a tragedian also needs to be a comedian. And there are aspects of tragedy and comedy that are intertwined with each other, and it's just how you choose to frame it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the politically relevant things, that we talked about recently they're very tragic, and to see what's happening is incredibly tragic. But you're either going to laugh about it or you're going to cry about it. Right. And often laughter is the best way to sort of make people think about these things rather than kind of push them away.
Yeah.
And so I think that being able to do comedy allows me to be funny and to have those kind of that endorphin rush of being funny and being found funny. But it also allows me to think about these kind of topics and find a way to talk about them in a way that's that kind of calls out kind of how awful they are.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, I don't know if you remember this, but people were calling like either Trump supporters or just like really far right people weirdos, and that really got to them because it was more laughing at them than it was calling out how awful they were.
Right.
And so it allows kind of that social subversion to happen.
Yeah.
Where
offers more of a space for discussion.
It does, rather than being able to talk about them in a serious way. And we do need to talk about them in a serious way. But comedy allows for that discussion to happen in a different way that when sort of the serious way has been exhausted to a point, if that makes sense.
Really quick, because we don't have a lot of time left.
Oh, sorry.
But no, it's fine. I'm just really curious.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself writing a play from scratch in the future?
I don't know. I'm not a huge writer. I really enjoy doing things off of kind of what's already been written, or like parodying stuff that's already been written. But I don't know if I don't know if I have anything in my head that could be turned into a play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I see myself ever writing a play, but I really enjoy performing them, and I enjoy adapting kind of what's already there. Yeah.
Well, keep an eye out for your performances in the future. Come see his performance this upcoming week, Friday and Saturday. Oh, what are the dates?
21 and 22.
21 and 22.
And Adelaide's performance.
Yes, I'm performing in it too, so come see me.
Yeah.
We're performing, again, 21st and 22nd, 7:30 p.m.
7:30. I don't know when doors are, but like, I don't know.
Probably 7.
Yeah, come before then.
Yeah.
Get a good seat.
And it's free.
It's free.
It's free. Memorial Hall at UNB.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see you there.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for talking about it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. That's all the time that we have for Freddy's Buds today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like a chance to showcase you and your art on the radio, message us at our Instagram, freddy's.buds. All of our episodes are turned into podcasts and put on our website, the link to which you can also find in our Instagram bio, so definitely go and check that out. Have a great weekend, Fredericton. Bum, 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 bum. To all the poets and the singers and the writers, to all the artists of any kind, welcome to the stage show, entire creations, and lend your listening mind.